Welcome to Ryan Watches a Movie. My name's Adam Patterson. With me today, we got Kevin Rakestraw. Hey, Kevin.
Hey.
We're also joined by Ryan Holtz. Hey, Ryan. If this is your first time tuning in, Kevin and I are challenging ourselves to find movies that Ryan likes in the hopes that we will reach the coveted 10 out of 10. You can join in on the conversation by sending your movie suggestions for Ryan to podcast@filmpulse.net or by sending me a DM on Twitter @filmpulsenet. If you like the show, or even if you don't, please consider taking a look at the Frederick's Ataxia Research Alliance website at curefa.org and consider a donation. Ryan, what movie did we have you watch this week?
Never Going Back.
Never Going Back. This came out last year. This is written and directed by Augustine Frizzell. I have a synopsis here. Jesse and Angela, high school dropouts, are taking a week off to chill at the beach. Too bad their house got robbed, rent's due, they're about to get fired, and they're broke. You wanted a comedy this week, so we gave you a comedy. Tell us a little bit about Never Going Back.
Like you said, it's about two 16-year-old girls and their high school dropouts. At the very beginning of the movie, you find out the one is having a birthday, and her dream is to go to the beach. Her best friend and roommate buys tickets for them to go to the beach for a week, and then they managed to sort of get robbed, and they managed to go to jail for a couple nights, and then they eat a bunch of pot brownies, and they go to work and get fired, and somehow they make it to the beach too.
All right.
First question that I have to clear something up there is just like you said that they somehow managed to like somewhat get robbed.
Alright, so they live with the one girl's brother, and his overall life plan is to become the drug dealer. Well, he already did kind of deal drugs, and one of his best friends robbed him at gunpoint, which is ironic because that's what happens then. Another roommate gets robbed by best friends. But anyway, her brother doesn't have money, doesn't have a job, and like I said, he gets robbed in a drug deal going bad. And the guy that robbed him goes back to the house where he lives in and steals his TV.
You were absolutely correct, Ryan, in saying that it was like a sort of a robbery because it was like the most bungled, maybe the worst robbery ever depicted on screen. When they take the broken, old, like giant tube TV that doesn't even work.
On wheels.
Yeah. So, what did you think of Never Going Back?
Some parts of it were funny. Some parts of it were really weird. I had a lot of problems with the continuity. Like the fact that they're 16-year-old girls, and they're don't you have to be 17 to be a waitress?
I don't know what the minimum age for a waitress is.
I thought that was it. But anyway, they're like, it's weird because they're living like they don't have a care in the world, but they're 16 and they're not gonna have high school diplomas, and all they do is work. And it's just weird to see them. Like when I look at them, I think of 16-year-olds. I don't think of them living by themselves and supporting themselves, sort of.
That's not completely uncommon. You have people who, I mean, they presumably have parents. They just don't want to live with their parents, or maybe they got kicked out. So they're staying with the one girl's brother. And like you said, and then that's just where they're living. So it's not like they're completely on their own.
No, but the way they're living, they're willing to, at the end of the movie, take all the money they have for rent and just splurge on a vacation.
Yeah, I mean that's what got them in trouble. They were trying to go to Galveston. They got to go to Galveston, hit up that hit up that Galveston beach, which I thought was a funny. There's several like kind of through line like callbacks that happen in this, and one of them is the fact that anytime they say they're going to Galveston, they get made fun of because why would you go to Galveston? Why would that be your beach of choice?
Yeah, I didn't know that Galveston had a beach.
Well, it does apparently because they were going, and yeah, Ryan, they spent their rent money. It was a birthday present because one of them was turning 17, and the other one got it for her as a gift. But this is when they were going to make up for the rent by working like extra shifts at the diner, but unfortunately they got fired, like you said. I thought I really loved this movie. I thought it was hilarious, and I'm getting the sense that it really wasn't there for you.
I gotta say, from the opening, I was just, as soon as he said the first couple of words, I was like, oh boy, not looking good.
Yeah, I thought for sure this would be right up your alley. I mean, I thought it was really funny, and there's some gross out stuff in there. Another one of the running gags in it is that one of the girls she has to use the bathroom at home, so they get arrested. So they're in jail for 2 days, and she can't use the bathroom in jail. And then they get out of jail and go home, and the water's turned off because her brother didn't pay the water bill, and there's no toilet paper. So she can't go at home either. And it culminates into something pretty incredible.
That scene made me laugh. The final scene. And the scene where they eat the edibles, that made me laugh.
When they ate the edibles, you said?
Because, yeah, they're basically like zombies.
Yeah, because they didn't know that. Because they hadn't eaten. They hadn't. They thought
it was normal.
Yes, they thought it was normal food.
Oh, God. Oh, man. Ryan explaining the edible scene. Good Lord.
They go to the freezer. They're after normal food, and they find a secret stash. And they start eating. And the guy walks in and says, "You found my secret stash. I've been only eating one."
Oof.
And by that point, they're like 3 or 4 each. And
I couldn't even imagine.
They're asking each other if they feel anything. And they keep saying no. And then they cut is to them walking off the bus. And they're like zombies.
Yeah. And also the scene when they get fired. So the very next scene is when they get fired, and they're having this conversation about their manager, and he's sitting directly in front of them, and they don't even realize it, which was I thought another really funny moment.
Yeah, that though. A lot of it made me laugh. That will think you laugh out loud.
All right.
The very end scene, they laugh out loud.
Yeah, the final scene is just so outrageous. You have Kyle Mooney in this movie. He stars as Brandon, who's another one of the roommates, and he's if you know him from SNL, he's really funny. And his character in this, Brandon, he works at a sandwich shop, and this is where the big scene takes place at the end, and he gets robbed, and they were like, they were asking for the money, and he's like, what do I do with it? He's like, do you have a robber's bag? And it was just that whole sequence was hilarious. And then when the one girl says, I puked him to death, you can just imagine what a line like that involves. I puked him to death.
Like when they flipped out the old guy also.
Oh, in the grocery store?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a funny scene. Yeah, there's a lot of like gross out stuff in this, but I think that it's a lot. It's just, it's funny because like movies like Booksmart come out and they're like talking about, oh, we never see, it's like the super bad for women and stuff, and it's like, did nobody see this movie? Because
yeah, that was what I was thinking at first. I thought it was gonna turn out they like fell in love with each other, but they're just that good of friends. I don't know. That's like, you two are my good friends growing up, and I never wanted to make out with you, and I was with you all the time. It must be a girl thing. Must be a girl thing that I understand.
You never wanted to make out with us? Are you serious?
Also,
Damn.
these
Unbelievable.
These two aren't your typical girls either. They're not typical 16-year-olds. They've had a rough life. They have it rough.
And the scene where the dude robs them, that made me laugh a lot.
The best thing was that
they fuck that all up.
they get robbed. The police get called, and then they get arrested because they have drugs in their room, and they end up in jail for 2 days.
It kind of sounds like Ryan's coming around to it.
Just the amount of shit that happens to these two, and the reactions that they have when this shit just keeps happening to them over and over and over again. It's like some of the stuff, yeah, they kind of asked for, but some of it was just really bad luck.
That's what I could relate to. It's
just that non-stop shit storm.
Yeah, it's one bad thing after another.
There was also just like one just kind of random one-off scene when it's her brother, and they're just hanging out on the back porch talking, and then it turns into a breakdance battle, or just a dance battle. And the two friends just start dance battling each other for like no reason.
You know what I didn't get? The one scene where the girl hits the other girl with the brick. Like, what happens to her face? Like, it doesn't even work at all. Is that like a real thing, or?
I mean, they
like, I don't understand why that.
No, they did it to get out of work. It was a montage of showing us all the various things that they've done to get out of work, and that was one of them.
Oh, so that happened like a couple.
Right? Yeah.
Ago.
It was them. It was a flashback to all the times that they did stupid shit to get out of work, when they chugged the milk, and then the mosquitoes when they laid out at night and let the mosquitoes bite them, but they were only biting the one girl, and they were like all over her. They were just completely covering her, and the other girl didn't have any on her at all. I should probably mention who they are. I keep saying the girl because I was forgetting their names, but it's Angela and Jesse, played by Maya Mitchell and Camilla Moroni. And I thought that they were really good in this. I thought they were both really funny.
The shorter girl, I don't know either of their names.
The shorter one is Angela, Maya Mitchell.
And the brunette, she made me laugh a lot. I mean, the other girl did. but that girl especially funny.
Yeah, they're both.
Got a really smart mouth on her.
Yeah.
That was
That
all.
sounded like the most creepy old man. She had a real smart mouth on her.
Him.
Ryan's turning into the creepy old man. That girl's got a smart mouth.
Oh,
No, it was funny to see her tear that other guy apart out of nowhere.
Well, they weren't going to do. The funny thing was that they grappled with it. They were going to let it go. But then he did. I can't remember. He did like one final thing and that just set him off. And then they tore him a new one.
Real smart mouth boy.
All right. Any final thoughts, Ryan, before we give you your drum roll on this?
It was very funny. It's worth watching at least once.
All right. All right. What do you give Never Going Back?
7.5.
7.5?
Ooh, okay.
All right. Solid. I'm happy with that.
It's better than what it's better than what I was expecting from the outset.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like really I thought for sure this was going to be a winner. I wasn't expecting like a 10 or anything, but
No.
and then when you started talking about it, I'm like, "Oh boy, maybe not."
Watch out.
Yeah.
I was just, for whatever reason, I was really creeped out at first by the fact they were 16, but they were like,
Yeah.
no.
See, I kind of forgot that they were only 16 when I picked this out for you, because I thought for sure like you were going to be into the fact that they're kind of I don't want to say this without being creepy because they are 16, but they're very sexualized in this movie. What movie do you want to see next week? What kind of movie?
Surprise me.
Oh, wild card. All right. We'll discuss. As always, you can send your picks for Ryan to podcast@filmpulse.net or send me a DM on Twitter. Thank you so much for listening. You can follow Kevin on Twitter @filmpulse.net and Ryan at My Legs Don't Work. If you have a minute, be sure to check out curefa.org and consider reviewing us on iTunes. For Kevin Rakestraw and Ryan Holes, my name's Adam Patterson. We'll see you next week.